Yesterday, there was news that this guy who had previously recorded all this MTV first day, basically every day of MTV, had uploaded that all up into the internet, and we could all watch it and enjoy it. So Jay and I asked you for some of your favorite music videos from those early days of MTV. And you shared some of yours, including Aha, Madonna's Like a Prayer. I saw that one in there. Lisa Loeb from the I Miss You video. And of course, the boss himself doing some pretty sweet dance moves in Dancing in the Dark. It is Friday. We made it. It's May 8th, and this is the Currents Music News. Hi, I'm Jade.
And I'm Jay. 58 years after releasing his self-titled debut, Bob Dylan has announced his 39th studio album. It's going to be called Rough and Rowdy Ways, dropping June 19th. It'll be the Nobel laureate's first collection of original songs since 2012, 8 years. Looks like it's going to be a double album, which is still one less than his last studio album, the Covers Collection Triplicate from 2017. Along with the announcement, Dylan graced us with yet another new song. Maybe my biggest surprise musically of 2020 is that Bob Dylan's album cycle now looks like Soccer Mommies. Here's a single, here's a single, here's a single. Album, guess what? Well, this new song is called False Prophet.
Well, I'm the enemy of treason, an enemy of strife. I'm the enemy of the unlived, meaningless life. I ain't no false prophet, I just know what I know. I go where only the lonely can go.
Have you seen any of these deepfake videos? The ones where there's maybe a scene from a movie that you know, but it's a different actor's face and they're saying something maybe different than what you remember from the movie. Well, now there's deepfake music, and it's getting so good that musicians are starting to get a little litigious, including this week. Jay-Z's people, they actually won a suit, or won a petition rather, for SoundCloud to take down this account that was basically a deepfake Jay-Z. It had his same rapping cadence, it had his voice, and also this week there's a group of programmers who released this thing called Jukebox, which generates music as in pop in the style of Katy Perry, or classic pop in the style of Frank Sinatra, or even rock in the style of Elvis Presley. And Jay, you listened to them, and I love this. You were like, they sound kind of like drunk versions of themselves, which is like, yes, it's not right on, but there is something there, and it feels a little like Uncanny Valley. So let's listen to a little bit of the fake Frank so you can kind of get an idea of what Jay and I are talking about.
It's Christmas time and you know what that means. Oh, it's hot tub time. As I like the tree this year, will be a song.
All right, so the big question here is this legal? And it really depends. It kind of lives in that world of parody where, there are celebrity impersonators and that's not a big deal. But when you get to a point where you're releasing a fake Katy Perry album, can the musician block that? And when you start to think about that's that person's voice, that's their career, is that really something that we can allow? And as this develops and it gets better, I think somewhere in the not so distant future, this is something where we'll all be figuring it out together.
Jade, for you, who would be the ultimate deepfake artist? Like, if AI could replicate an album by this artist, you'd be convinced they figured it out.
I don't know, because it's so hard, but I mean, somebody like Fiona Apple, who has such a unique voice and does something different and weird all the time, if you could try and capture that creativity, which I don't think you can, then I would be convinced. But until then, this feels very uncomfortable for me.
For me, I think it's Bob Dylan. If you can get like a computer that's like, guess what, I faked a new Bob Dylan album, here's a 17-minute song about JFK's assassination. Okay, that's...
Jay, what if this is the deep fake Dylan?
No! Wow. Okay. All right. Oh, all right. All right.
Mind's blown.
Yeah. Get my head back on my shoulders here.
Happy Friday, Jay.
Okay. Well, I know January 2019 seems like about 1 trillion years ago, but if you can think back to that time, Soundgarden fans might remember a star-studded tribute concert in honor of the late Chris Cornell. Raised a lot of money that was meant to go to the Chris and Vicky Cornell Foundation. According to that foundation's website, it supports, quote, the causes Chris loved most, helping vulnerable children. Well, now the surviving members of Soundgarden say that they've seen no evidence that the revenue from the concert, potentially millions of dollars, actually ever went to those charities. So now they're suing Vicky Cornell, Chris Cornell's widow. She's suing them. They're tussling over the revenue from the concert. They're also arguing over what's going to happen to and who gets the revenue from, who has control over recordings that Chris Cornell made before his death, and over control of the band's social media accounts. According to the band, Vicky Cornell's been running the Soundgarden accounts without input or permission from them. So it's kind of a mess, but if there's a silver lining, at least this means probably we're not going to get a Soundgarden hologram reunion tour.
So are you still waiting to get some ticket refunds right about now? Well then, it should be no surprise to you that Live Nation just had their report to their investors, and surprising no one, the outlook was not that great. Revenue is down 20% from last year, and the giant promoter said that the second quarter is going to be way worse. Although, to paint a little nice silver lining on their letter to investors, Live Nation's CEO Mike Rapino said that over 90% of fans are holding on to their tickets for rescheduled shows where refunds are available, which is the clearest demonstration that pent-up demand will enable us to quickly start concerts back up. That sounds pretty cheerful, but the line I think we should focus in on is where refunds are available. Because if you've been trying to get your tickets, you know that it's almost impossible to try and get your refund back. Lots of fans are pretty discouraged about the whole process. And even though Live Nation did open a refund eligibility period, it was just last week, so pretty late in the game. And the promoter also seems rather more optimistic than most of the scientists that people will be back out and about. In fact, in that same note to the investors, they said that we believe 2021 can return to show volume and fan attendance at levels consistent with what we've seen in recent years.
That would be great.
Wouldn't it, Jay? Wouldn't it be great?
That would be great.
I think they're being a little optimistic.
Yeah. That's today's music news. We'll be back with another update, so like and follow us so you can be sure to catch it. And in the meantime, listen to The Current on your radio, on your smart speaker, on our app, on our web stream, and click in the comments to let us know what music news stories are meaningful to you right now. This Sunday on The Simpsons, Weezer are going to be special guests, but not playing Weezer. They're going to be playing a Weezer cover band called Sailor's Delight. In addition to covering some of their past hits, they're going to debut a new song. But for now, here they are playing the Simpsons theme.